New Zealand Dairy Farmer is proudly brought to you by Hanson Products, providing Kiwi farmers with water system solutions for over 50 years. Welcome to New Zealand Dairy Farmer. This week we head to the Waikato and visit Lye Farm. Run by DairyNZ, Lye Farm is home to some of the most advanced indoor dairy research facilities in the Southern Hemisphere. We'll talk with Jane Lacy-Hulbert, DairyNZ's mastitis expert, about the continuing work they're doing in the area of mastitis and find out more about what dairy farmers can do to help themselves.
What's your role here at DairyNZ, Jane?
Okay, my background is in science. I'm actually a scientist, a senior scientist at DairyNZ, and for the last few years I've been working on the development side of a project, developing up the Smart Sound program.
What interested you about mastitis in the first place as a research subject?
Gosh, it's a long time ago now. Just the fact that it encompasses farm management, cow management and bacteria and the somatic cells, the immune system. So all of those things come together and it just makes for a fascinating disease that we can be interested in.
Why is mastitis such a big deal to New Zealand dairy farmers?
It's probably the main animal health problem that they deal with every day. Certainly they deal with it every day and it's the most costly one for them. After reproduction, it's the biggest animal health cost on farm. So yeah, it matters to them every day.
Are farmers aware of those costs or do they just have a vague feeling about them?
They'll see some of the costs. Some of them they're very aware of, the antibiotics that they use to treat the cows. But some of the more hidden costs, what happens when the cows have a high somatic cell count and how that affects the milk yield, they can't see that. It's not easy to see. So that's part of our challenge, to help make those hidden costs more visible to them.
So how can farmers best upskill themselves in this area?
Okay, well, we've put together over the last couple of years a Smart Sound website, and that really provides the go-to resource for farmers and their advisors, for vets, for milking machine technicians, to be able to see to be able to get access to the latest resources, latest technical information on what goes on, what they need to know to deal with mastitis. There's tools and calculators on there as well.
With a lot of farmers, would it just be a case of them brushing up on information they already know quite well, but perhaps have just got a bit stale on?
There is that element. It's not. There's a depth of the resources that you can come in at a quite simple level, a quick tips level, but you can drill down to the detail and really find out some of the science and background as to why we do quite a lot of the things we do. So that's part of the knowledge resources, if you like. But there's also calculators on there that really makes it come alive for what's going on in their farm.
So that is calculations by way of cost per cow or per milk production?
We have two tools on there that are useful for farmers to see what's going on with their farm. So one of those is the gap calculator, and that helps them work out what is the economic gap, the economic value of closing the gap from their current performance to their preferred performance or their target performance. So that's quite a motivator. It's quite surprising what people find out when they actually start to put their numbers in. And then we also have a mastitis focus report that will slowly become live over the next 12 months or so. And that's where it starts to help people really work out where the gains can be made in the management system on the farm, whether it's in the calving management or the lactation management.
So how can the website better get across those messages to farmers by way of upskilling them?
It tries to give information at a level that people want it. So if they need simple information, the basic information, key recommendations, they're there. If they want much greater depth, they can find that as well. We've also got these tools that will help them start to work it out for their system. That was one of the criticisms of the SAM plan, that it was one size fits all. And what we've tried to do within Smart SAM is to help get people to a place where they can develop up a system that works for their farm and their herd.
Can farmers usually put these solutions in place by themselves, or do they need to call on other professional advisors?
Some people will want to try and do it themselves, but it is always worth having an expert eye to have a look in with an objective look. And that's certainly what we encourage within the Smart Sound program, that we list out there the qualified advisors who can help provide a professional perspective on your situation.
And what about the recent popularity of once-a-day milking? It's often considered that switching to that system might bring a temporary increase in somatic cell count levels.
Yeah. When you switch to once a day, there is a biological change in the udder. So yes, there is a bit of a slight change in the somatic cell counts for a few days afterwards. What people say who've been on once a day for a while is it does help mastitis to show up more. It becomes more visible. The clinical signs become more visible, the cell counts become more visible. So some people are concerned about it, apprehensive when they switch to once a day, but others actually quite like the fact that it becomes more visible.
So what's your advice to a farmer who believes they have higher somatic cell counts than they should be having? They believe their shed routine is pretty good in terms of what they're doing, but they are still anxious about the mastitis problem they have on farm.
Best way is to probably go to the Smart Sound website, have a look through the gap calculator, put some numbers in. It doesn't take much to get a simple answer as to where the advantages may lie in trying to improve the situation, and probably then it's go to one of the trusted advisors, go to a qualified advisor to come in and have a look and look into your system, talk to your vet. At the end of the day, these are the guys who've trained for many years to know how to help you in these situations.
Is it often the case that something quite simple is stopping farmers from getting a lower level of somatic cell counts in their cows?
Sometimes it can be. It really can be, but it often takes that external eye to have a look and just see things in a slightly different way. It is amazing how many situations people can get themselves into, and following a logic that makes sense, but when you test it, you find something's not quite right in the logic. And yeah, mastitis is a disease that can slowly get away on you. It doesn't happen overnight. A poor situation doesn't happen overnight. It takes quite some time. So, but the fix can often be quite dramatic and only take a few days. So yeah, it makes sense to get that extra pair of eyes in to have a look.
Coming up next on New Zealand Dairy Farmer, we meet Josh Palliser, a farm assistant at Lye Farm, to talk about his role, systems on the farm, and why continuing research into mastitis is important.